Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's time for the Week 6 Power Rankings. We're going to kick it off with number 32, the Jets. Now, when you're the only team that hasn't had a win yet, you have to be last in the Power Rankings. Number 31, the Bengals. This team is hopeless, so as soon as the Jets get a win, I could put them at the bottom of the Power Rankings. Hopefully that won't be this week. Moving on to number 30, the Raiders. This team hasn't had a win since week 1, and I don't need to say much more about that. Number 29, the Dolphins. After finally getting a win against the Jets, they turn around and blow a 17-point lead to the Panthers. This team is going nowhere fast and should maybe consider putting together a package of players on the trading block as the trade deadline draws near. Moving on to number 28, the Titans. At least this team knows that they won't go 0-17 this year, but the way that they achieved their win in such a fluky fashion, there's nothing other than the fact that the result was a victory to hang their hat on. The next opponent is the Raiders, so let's see if they could make it back-to-back wins. Moving on to number 27, we have the Browns. And with the Browns, we have the QB battle that we've been waiting for since the NFL draft weekend. Dylan Gabriel had the first crack at the starting quarterback role, and he put up pedestrian numbers in the loss to the Vikings. He will start again against the Steelers, but Shedeur Sanders is waiting in the weeds, ready to pounce upon any opportunity. At number 26, we have the Giants. Now, this team came back to earth very quickly after getting handled by the lowly Saints. Next is an NFC East matchup against the Eagles, a team that is in a bad mood after blowing the game against the Broncos last week. It's going to be a rough Thursday night battle. Number 25, the Saints. This team finally got its first win. Not going to talk much more about them. Moving on to number 24, we have the Panthers. Great comeback win against the Dolphins. However, I'm not one for false hope. Bryce still needs to work on his ball security, and he was the major reason we started off in such a deficit anyways. Rico Dowdle had a magnificent game, rushed for over 200 yards in the absence of Chuba Hubbard. That was good, but I'm still not sold on Ted McMillan, as he had another just okay game. He still hasn't scored a touchdown yet, and we're 5 games into the season. He strikes me as more of a number 2 receiver rather than a number 1, but I guess you got to start somewhere. Moving on to number 23, we have the Falcons. This team was on the bye last week, so no movement from them. Unfortunately, they get to play the Bills on Monday night, and just like the Eagles, the Bills are coming off a loss. Number 22, the Ravens. This team continues to drop after getting thoroughly whipped by the Texans. Things don't get easier as they have the Rams next. Number 21, we have the Vikings. After beating the Browns, this team gets to have a nice relaxing bye week. So we move to number 20, the Cardinals. So, okay, what can we say about the Cardinals? Are they well coached? Probably can't say that. Do they have talent? A decent amount. Are they allergic to finishing games? Most definitely. Are they ass? Not really, but sort of, kind of, yeah. This team has lost 3 in a row now after starting off 2-0. All 3 losses coming at the end of the game after having a lead. They lost by 1 point to the 49ers. They allowed the Seahawks to come back and force overtime, end up losing by 3 to them. And last week, they allowed the winless Titans to storm back from a 21-6 deficit and score 16 points in the fourth quarter to beat them 22-21. Now, to achieve that loss, they did some of everything wrong. We have Amari DeMarcado doing his best Deshaun Jackson impersonation and dropping the ball before crossing the goal line in what would have been a 72-yard touchdown run. That turned into a fumble, which went through the end zone for a touchback, giving the Titans the ball. Then Then the Cardinals defense proceeds to allow the Titans to drive 80 yards for a touchdown. Later on, the Titans defense gets a chance to redeem itself as safety Dadrian Taylor Demerson, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, intercepts a pass from Cam Ward, but upon trying to get up after he catches it, he fumbles the ball, gets ran into by one of his own players, and another Cardinals player knocks the ball into the end zone trying to recover it. And ultimately, Tyler Lockett from the Titans jumps onto the ball for a fumble recovery touchdown. So, even after all of that, 2 major blunders and giving up a touchdown, the Cardinals still had the lead. But instead of at least being able to run the clock out, they give it back to the Titans, who then proceed to drive down the field and kick a game-winning field goal. That's tough. Number 19, the Cowboys. This team played the Jets, had a field day, so we're moving on. Number 18, the Bears. Nice to move up while being on your bye week. This team has the Commanders next in a revenge game from last year. Let's hope that Tyreek Stevenson pays better attention than what he did last time and not give up a Hail Mary to win the game. Number 17, the Texans. Now, this team gets a bye week after whipping up on the Ravens and putting together back-to-back wins. At 2-3, they're looking alive again in the AFC South race. Number 16, the Steelers. Typically, I wouldn't have a team lose ground on their bye week, but a lot went on while the Steelers were resting. They get back into the swing of things against the Browns this week. Number 15, the Chargers. This team looked bad after jumping out to a 10-0 lead against the Commanders. They ended up getting blown out 27-10 as they didn't score again after that. And things are looking very different from that 3-0 start that this team had early in the season. Number 14, we're going to go with the Seahawks. There's no shame in losing a shootout to this new version of Baker Mayfield. But a loss is a loss, so I have to drop them in the power rankings. Number 13, the Colts. This team beat the Raiders, and now they get the Cardinals, which is probably another layup. Number 12, the Patriots. Well, I guess they can surprise me. I should have stuck with that first thought of the Patriots surprising teams because they surely surprised the Bills and got a nice win over them. Moving on. Number 11, we have the 49ers. Now, this team has battled through injuries and the adversity of facing this whole division in the first 5 weeks of the season. They go undefeated against the division, and the only loss came at the hands of the Jaguars, who are proven to be quite formidable. They lead the division after beating the Rams last week, but now face a tough opponent in the Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers. Number 10, the Rams. Now, I know what y'all are thinking, but Sid, didn't the 49ers beat the Rams? Relax. The Rams were 5th last week in the power rankings, so the Niners beating them dropped them down to this level. Now the thing is, the 49ers also had to come up. So the Rams are where they are, just above the 49ers still. But don't worry, Niners fans. They'll get their chance to surpass them. Just be patient. Number 9, the Broncos. Finally, a team beats the champs. For this Broncos team, it also marked the first big win of the season. They lost to the Colts and Chargers earlier, but now have a signature win under their belt. Next, they get the task of keeping the Jets winless, and that should be easy. Number 8, the Chiefs. Just as I thought this team was catching a groove, the Jaguars come in and said, not so fast. Now, I did go out on a limb and pick the Jaguars to upset the Chiefs, so I'm not totally surprised. The Chiefs still have work to do as they fall back below 500. Number 7, speaking of the Jaguars. Great win against the Chiefs. Question is Trevor Lawrence back to becoming one of the elite quarterbacks again? Number 6, the Packers. Another case of being lucky during your bye week moves this team up a notch. Number 5, the Commanders. Now this team is up and down, losing to the Falcons, then turning around and smashing the Chargers. But they were in the right place at the right time, and they get to jump into the top 5 of the power rankings. Moving on to number 4, the Bucks. Now this team is going to be amongst the most battle-tested teams come playoff time. They dispatch of the Seahawks and face the 49ers next. Baker's putting in a strong bid for the MVP. Number 3, the Bills. Bills finally took an L, so they drop. Number 2, the Eagles. Chance finally lose, so they drop in the power rankings as well. And then finally, we have our new number 1, the Lions. After the week 1 debacle against the Packers, this team has done nothing but win. And by win, I mean beat the next 4 teams by 13 or more points each time. With the Eagles and Bills losing, they slide into the number 1 spot. That's it for this week's power rankings, y'all. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about these power rankings in the comments. I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.